the 6 men and women whose remains are being brought back to the United States today in this dignified transfer ceremony. Let me read their names. Major Jeffrey R. O'Brien, Captain Cody A. Cork, Sergeant First Class Nicole M. Amore, Sergeant First Class Noah L. Tietjens, Sergeant Declan J. Cody, all of them returning to the United States today after their service in Kuwait and other places. There you see the President, the First Lady, and the Vice President, as well as Steve Witkoff, just to the screen right of your President. He's been the one who has been one of the 2 point men on negotiations with Iran. As they salute, it would indicate that the first of the transfer cases is coming off of the C-17. Let's continue to watch this dignified transfer process as it unfolded just moments ago at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. This playback will be completely silent. There is no recording, no audio recording accompanying this video. That's why it seems a little still. No audio recording, just the video. As we continue to watch the President, the First Lady, and the Vice President at Dover Air Force Base, I want to bring in Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb, retired from the U.S. Army. He conducted these transfers for more than a decade while he was on active duty. He's now co-founder and executive director of Restore Liberty. Lieutenant Colonel Gobb, this is the kind of event nobody wants to see, but the United States does honor its fallen service members.
Yeah, thanks, John. I think that's the message that every American should know, and why it's so valuable to watch these is they know that the military chain of command all the way up to the President is present. We support our people and the families no matter what, all the way to graveside, and by the way, for years afterwards as well. This is an event that I think it is very valuable for the American citizens to see. And of course, as always, we pray that God blesses the families of the fallen here. And we pray that our nation reminds themselves to be grateful for the sacrifices that are made in the defense of this great nation.
Yeah, it's a reminder that freedom is not free. We should also mention, and Lieutenant Colonel Gobb, stay with us, we should also mention that the families of the fallen are also there. However, they will not be photographed, they will not be pictured in this, and you can understand why. This is a tremendously difficult time for each of them. The emotions are very raw. They just got word within the last few days that their loved ones had been killed in this Iranian drone strike on a base in Kuwait. We believe that based on the order of the transfer, we were expecting Major Jeffrey R. O'Brien from the 103rd Sustainment Command in Des Moines, Iowa, has his transfer case has passed. We're now expecting that of Captain Cody A. Cork to be passing in front of the camera. Our Lucas Tomlinson is covering the hostilities in the Middle East from Dubai. He's our Pentagon correspondent. Lucas, what can you tell us about the circumstances that took the lives of these 6 Americans?
Well, John, this is the most solemn ceremony the President of the United States can conduct. Of course, his greatest title is Commander-in-Chief. He's in charge of the U.S. military and the armed forces. In this particular case, you had a tactical operations center in Kuwait near Al Salim Air Base. That's the big transportation hub for U.S. forces in the Middle East. There was some talk about perhaps the defenses of this tactical operations center were not complete. But as you know, you cannot have CRAM or other kind of point defense systems everywhere. These service members from the Iowa National Guard were on the front lines of this war. We heard the reports about Russia providing intelligence to the Iranian forces, and perhaps some Iranian drones saw this as an opportunity. These were the first casualties of the Iran war, and it's something that President Trump, in his first video address at 2:30 in the morning, warned about. He said that we should expect casualties. We heard it from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, who's also there alongside the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and the Vice President. As you can see, the First Lady and Steve Witkoff. This war is going to go on for another few weeks. We heard Caroline Levitt say 4 to 6 weeks. We should also mention, John, it's been a tough few months for the Iowa National Guard. If you recall, 2 soldiers from the Iowa National Guard were killed in Syria as well when that lone ISIS gunman opened fire along with their civilian interpreter. And, John, you almost could have had twice as many fallen service members coming off that C-17. If you recall, 3 U.S. Air Force F-15 Strike Eagles were shot down over Kuwait by a Kuwaiti fighter jet, who still not clear how that happened, but miraculously all 6 punched out of their aircraft, all 3, and survived. But these 6 fallen service members, the best that this country has to offer, being honored here, not just by the President, but the Vice President, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of War, Susie Wiles, I see her as well behind the President, Steve Witkoff, of course, who tried to negotiate a deal with Iran to prevent war from happening. And here we'll pause for the next service member.
Lucas Tomlinson, thanks. A couple of dignitaries who are visible now who weren't so easy to see earlier on the far right of your screen in the front row. Usha Vance, the Second Lady of the United States, married to the Vice President. And behind the Vice President, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. She too is taking part in this dignified transfer ceremony. Very quickly to Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb. As we mentioned, you supervised these ceremonies for quite some period of time. I'm sure it never gets any easier.
Yeah, John, it never gets any easier. And I'll tell you that what's also important is to know that every single time something like this happens, the only standard of execution on the part of the military honor guards and all those who take part in this, such as the preparation of the caskets and the bodies themselves to move to their hometowns and next of kin, is perfection in everything, from the ceremony itself to the uniform preparation, and you name it. And this is not the last dignified transfer ceremony that will occur for these heroes. They'll actually move from Dover to their hometowns, where those dignified transfers will occur again, both out and to the next location, by military funeral honors programs around the nation. National Guard funds that. There's that program in all 50 states, as well as the active duty support.
Continuing now.